Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana. And we're here today with special guest, Dutch Mendenhall, who's here to share with us his work and book, Money Shackles, the Breakout Guide to Alternative Investing, Redefined American Dream. Now, is it time to create true wealth in your life? Well, today's guest is going to share with us just that. Dutch Mendenhall is a husband, father, and man of faith. He's a force of nature marked by extraordinary achievements. He's the Wall Street Journal best-selling author of Money Shackles, president of the Alternative Investing Association, and recipient of the Patriot Legacy Award. Dutch has partnered with thousands and thousands of people who have achieved direct results in their money game. Dutch loves teaching and helping people learn about alternative investments. His journey began with creative commercial real estate investing and later moved into auctions. Then one day, his students dared him to put his money where his mouth is. So he partnered with them and started a national movement, growing a $250 million portfolio of various assets with his team. So welcome to the show, Dutch Mendenhall.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
What an honor it is to have you here to talk about this book and the work you do. What even got you inspired in this line of work?
Well, I think you understand this. When two minds like ours believe in people and believe in the growth and the success of people in this world, and we believe that God, has put each of us on earth for a purpose. I think, from my humble beginnings of living on my own at 16 years old to having achieved great wealth for myself and others, the purpose of the book was to really have a decoded blueprint for people and have people to be able to have a step-by-step process and checklists and specific things that they can, make decisions on not only their own relationship with money, but things like saving, paying less in taxes and making more money from their investments and getting access to things that they couldn't get access before and understanding real estate and even how to choose the right financial advisor, right? So all of these different things that Money Shackles was I was born to do is because I feel like our system in America is a little broken. I feel like we're not taught about money and we're not taught about how to make more money as kids. And we're not taught about what is God's purpose with money. Like what does he want us to do with it? What does putting him first mean? What does, how do things happen that we can't control, but then still be in control of our financial life? And so, Money Shackles was really about breaking the shackle of a traditional system that says get in debt, go to school, get in debt, buy a house, get in debt, buy a car, get in debt. Debt is bad and ugly. And reality is achieving higher income, achieving wealth, achieving financial freedom. There's a code to it. And if you have that roadmap and you follow that roadmap, you can really, over time, achieve great things in your life.
Man, you just said it all because how often, people grow up, they know nothing about money, and then we expect them to be successful in life.
Yeah, my first car was repossessed at 18 years old, and I just didn't know any better. I didn't know about buying, used car from a used lot for the used dealer who's used to using people versus, buying the right type of car and what the difference between those two financial decisions and how that's going to affect you over a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, right? I didn't understand the difference between a 10% interest rate and a 3% interest rate. There's just so many parts to the equation that people need to understand. And then the difference between using debt to acquire wealth and assets or using debt to achieve a certain lifestyle are two very different things. And if you don't know the difference, then you're never going to break free.
So when you talk about money shackles, the concept of that's having people really get to a point where they understand their relationship with money.
Yeah, it is. Like there's actual money personality types. So in the book we talk about whether you're a saver, a spender, a security seeker, a risk taker, or what we call a flyer. And I have a really wonderful friendship with Taylor Kovar, the money couple, right? And so we actually give people links where they can go to and actually assess their own money personality type, right? And assess how does that affect your decisions. One of my sons is absolutely a spender. Another one of my sons is absolutely what we call a flyer, which means he doesn't really have a connection to money. Like he doesn't want to spend it, he doesn't want to save it. It just doesn't mean much to him, right? And so, different people are born different ways. And but my one son, if he gets to take a risk with it, right? If God forbid, if we didn't teach him about money, he'd probably be a gambler someday, right? But if you are a gambler, that means you're probably a risk taker, and you need to understand your money personality type so that you can manage yourself effectively when it comes to your own relationship with money.
So I know you talk about redefining the American dream. So what would that look like?
Well, we have the American dream, and for a long time, the American dream was buy a house, get a job, right? Have a career, maybe work your way, to a certain level of better lifestyle, better life for your children than what you have, right? And reality is that American dream. I don't know how many people achieve that. Like everybody in America is either in the middle class or wants to be in the middle class, right? There's a very small percentage of America that doesn't fit into one of those two categories, the one percenters, right? And so the reality is the American dream for me is about freedom. And freedom is when your passive income, the money you're not having to work for every single day, is enough to pay for your lifestyle, enough to pay for the things that you do in life, that you want to do in life, that you want to do for your kids, or you want to do and set aside for your retirement. And when that income is work free, right, effort free, and passive, now you've achieved freedom. Now, that freedom for you could look different than it is for me, right? Freedom for you might be traveling constantly. Freedom for another person might be the ability to, I don't know, go golfing, right? Once a week. Another person freedom might mean to know that their spouse and their children are taken care of should they pass away, right? And so freedom for different folks is different. And someone of faith might have a different freedom than someone of not faith. And there's some different parts to that. But the reality is God has a plan for everything that we want to achieve in our life. And it is right there for us at our fingertips if we follow that plan.
So many people have like an angst when it comes to talking about money and God. And I just love how you bring both of those together.
I mean, we're tortured souls, right? And that's I know that's some people are like, well, what do you mean? Like, well, I mean, an average human being, all human beings have problems, and all problems are really real to all of us as human beings, right? And if you can't find peace and peace of mind, then you're going to continue agonizing through that torture, right? But if you allow God to take over when it comes to your financial dreams, if you allow God to take over when it comes to your financial well-being, then there's a certain anxiety and a certain amount of pain that will literally leave your life. And it's not that God said be stupid with money, no, right? Just because you believe in God doesn't mean you should be stupid with money. Just because you believe in God doesn't mean you shouldn't use your brain when it comes to making decisions when it comes to money. But there's a difference between making bad decisions and trusting God, because you can make good decisions and trust God, right? It's kind of like, the guy who's in a house that's burning down and God sends him a helicopter, and the guy's like, "No, God's going to take care of this and save me." He sends a, you know, uh uh water truck over and says, "Hey, we can dump this water in your house." It's like, "No, God's going to save me. He's going to send the firemen," right? And the firemen never come, and the guy dies, and the guy gets to heaven, and he's like, "Well, God, why didn't you come save me?" And he's like, "Well, I sent you a water truck and I sent you a helicopter, and you didn't get in, right?" And so, like, there is smart step by step processes for you to follow. And as much as anything, a big part of being smart with money is the ability to recognize bad decisions. And having a healthy relationship keeps you from making bad decisions. A big part of Money Shackles is like, here are all the signs of scammers. Here are all the signs of bad investments. Here's all the signs of people with good intentions, but aren't gonna help you be successful with your money, right? Here's the difference between a 1, 3, 5, 10, 15, or 20% return, right? And here's how you tell the difference between those. And when returns start getting higher than this, then the risks infinitely start to go up. And so it's all in God's hands.
So I know you talk about alternative investing. What is that?
It's about getting away from Wall Street, right? I always, in our household, we call Wall Street Bull Street, right? I mean, you can't go to a financial advisor who's never been wealthy and say, "Help me build wealth." Like it just A, B, and C. That's like saying to a person, I'm going to ride a horse for the first time, and somebody who's never ridden a horse before, teach me how to ride a horse. Doesn't make any sense. And so reality is there's alternative investments in the world available to all of us. Real estate, for me, right, is my bread and butter. It's a safeguarded, it's a tried and proven asset that lets you pay less in taxes, allows you to appreciate and grow over time, can produce its own income. And real estate's one class, right? There's another whole class with crypto, right, and cryptocurrency. Maybe you like, I could never understand crypto, then you should probably stay away from it, and that's one of the lessons in the book. Now, there's other classes like being an angel investor or being a venture capitalist. People are like, I could never be an angel investor or venture capitalist. Well, actually, you can. Crowdfunding started in 2012 with the Jobs Act, and it passed a group of laws that gave ability, what they call Reg CFs, Reg A pluses from the government, and gave businesses the ability to raise money, to raise capital, to be able to bring investors into their own individual businesses. And so these companies have audited financials. These companies exist and they're real. And I'm not saying that every Reg A and CF that ever existed is going to go and be successful, but they got a really good chance of being successful. Now, in the book, we help you rate them. We help you say, hey, is this a unicorn? Well, unicorn is something that's never existed before, but sounds like a really good idea to make money. That immediately goes into a high risk bucket. AI right now is the vast conversation here in America, right? It's all super sexy. It's a bright, shiny object. Well, stuff that's a bright, shiny object, you need to be careful of because it's likely to be a unicorn. There was a point in time where cryptocurrency was the bright, shiny object, right? Over the years, a great many things, the ability to go online and push a bunch of buttons, and suddenly you'll have an e-commerce store and you can make, $100,000 a day, is definitely was a bright, shiny object. And so you got to learn how to stay away from the bright, shiny objects and find real, tangible assets. There's a great company I was recently talking to that has government contracts, has been doing AI for almost, a decade. And I'm like, well, that's not a unicorn. That's AI in reality because they have true business revenue. They have a product that is proven and that works. And so now you're starting to take a look at something that could have been a unicorn, but now maybe turns into a real tangible asset that you want to invest into. And so each of these things adjust your risk categories, and that helps you make your own decisions. And if you're just going to trust someone else to do that for you, and they're always going to have a vested interest, and you got to make those decisions yourself at the end of the day. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to make my own. Well, if you're educated, it becomes easy. If you're not educated, it's hard. Anything is hard in the world without education. With knowledge, a lot of things in the world become easy.
Okay, so I'm going to have you drop some wisdom on me here. So, what advice would you give my 18-year-old self who is new to investing? What would you say?
Well, one, stop worrying about investing, right? You're an 18-year-old self. I'm going to tell you, change your exchange for money. Let's increase your income. Let's help you get the talents, the skills. Let's help you get the education that you need to make good income. If you're making $10 an hour or you're making $15 an hour, the likelihood that you ever truly have enough money to be a successful, to be able to achieve the financial freedom isn't super high. But if you invest in yourself properly as a human being, you invest in certain talent, certain skills, certain trades, and that investment into yourself really increases your ability to produce more income. That would be the first thing I would say to any 18-year-old, right? Is you have the ability to achieve great wealth and great income. Don't accept the societal norms. It doesn't mean, I'm not saying don't go to college, right? College can be the perfect avenue for a large group of people. But it also doesn't mean just because you're 18 doesn't mean you can't start a business. Just because you're 18 doesn't mean you can't achieve a higher and higher income. But you're going to have to change your skill set. You're going to have to change your abilities as a person. Like with my sons, I'm speaking into their lives at 7, 8, 9 years old so that I can give them the talents and the abilities so that when they hit 18, they're already hitting the ground running. But right now, it's all about what is the exchange. People start with changing time for money, dollars for hours, and that's the worst exchange possible. There are so many other forms of leverage, so many other forms of exchange when it comes to how you're going to make your income. And when you start making income for your talents and abilities, you start making your income for results that you create in the world, you'll start making more money. And so there's a great many skills when it comes to that. But the same two people can do the exact same job, but because one knows how to negotiate, person B is going to make a lot more money than person A. And so these are all part of the skills that you must be able to have if you're going to succeed in this world. There's a difference between a person who works the same job their entire life and a person who becomes an executive or a CEO. There's a person who never succeeds and a person who does. And there's a difference in their abilities and skills. And it's not just happenstance of society.
Well, on that note, we're going to pause here for a quick break, and we'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Hey, pay attention, everybody. Amy Vaughn and myself, Dutch Mendenhall, are hosting an event. Have you ever felt like the wealthiest in America play by a different rule book? Even if you earn well, make money, invest wisely, educate yourself, there is an invisible barrier. It separates you from the financial security enjoyed by America's elite. The economic landscape changes every day. The wealthy elite know how to stay ahead of it because we play by a different rule book. At Invest Well Summit, we'll share all the plays, and we're making it to win. Spots are going to sell out fast at InvestWell Summit, so get your butt to investwellsummit.com and secure your seat now.
Are you a coffee lover who wants to make a difference? Look no further than Fire Department Coffee, a veteran-owned business that gives back to support first responders in need. Each batch of coffee is freshly roasted right here in the USA by a dedicated team of first responders and coffee experts. So when you enjoy a cup of Fire Department coffee, you're not only drinking high-quality coffee, you're supporting members of your community. Start your day with a coffee that gives back. Visit firedepartmentcoffee.com. That's fire, D-E-P-T, coffee.com.
There comes a moment when you realize you're somewhere special. When you discover that each beautiful creature that you see has been rescued from a life of absolute horror and brought to this incredibly free place. Here's where their lives were forever changed and where yours will as well. Discover over 500 tigers, bears, and lions at the brand new visitor center at the Wild Animal Sanctuary just outside Denver. For more information, visit wildanimalsanctuary.org. Discover true freedom at the Wild Animal Sanctuary.
Internationally recognized and award-winning author Judy Goodman works and teaches outside the box of limited thinking. Working with people from every walk of life, her goal is to empower you to be the best you can be, no matter what the challenge is. Born with the gift of seeing beyond our normal vision, she has an extraordinary gift of working with every challenge. Teaching beyond conventional wisdom, her work is described as life-changing. Visit judygoodman.com. That's judygoodman.com.
I'd like to thank Jason Eastwood at Guitarfulness for sharing his inspiring music and talent with us. His music is known worldwide for cultivating atmospheres of harmony, inner peace, and clarity. Visit Jason's website at guitarfulness.com. Join his newsletter, be part of his community, and download his music. Welcome back to Moments with Marianne. We're here today with special guest, Dutch Mendenhall, who's here to share with us his work and book, Money Shackles, the Breakout Guide to Alternative Investing, Redefined American Dream. So for our listeners that are new to investing, where do they start?
Well, I always love Money Shackles, right? You can go to DutchMendenhall.com. You can go to moneyshackles.com, whatever's easier. But Dutch Mendenhall is DutchMendenhall.com. Or you can go to Money Shackles. And both of those work. And that's a great place to start. Now, it's on Audible as well. It's on Amazon, right? You can go to all those places to find it and get a copy of it. Love signing them for people. It's one of those things is we have our conferences as well throughout the year. I think we have 2 more planned for this year. People love coming there and getting like that in-person breakthrough kind of experience. So those are always great too.
I understand you have an Invest Wealth Summit coming up soon.
Yeah, we sure do. We have some really incredible companies. Like I'm going to be there and be the keynote speaker. I'm going to take people through a step-by-step guide when it comes to Money Shackles, relationship with money. But the other cool part about Invest Well Summit is we have things people can invest into. And not like just with my company or just with our REITs or with our funds and those kind of things. Like we bring companies in that have gone through the test of time, right? They're experienced, they have revenue, they have income, they have audited financials, and they have offers that they've had to qualify through the SEC, through the government, right? To be able to offer those out to the public. And so, we have some really great things. We have real estate deals people are able to invest into, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, we have a bunch of our investors, a bunch of our students who've been with us for years that come to it. We have tons of new people that are there. Our coaches and mentors there do one-on-one sessions with people and sit down and be like, "Hey, let's figure this thing out. Let's help you identify your challenges, your problems. Let's help you identify what you want to accomplish. Let's help you identify what is retirement, what's an IRA, what's a SEPA, what's a 401k, what's a whole life insurance policy. What are all of these different things you need as a part of it? What's a trust? What's a LLC? All of these things, right? And what's a good real estate investment deal? And what's a bad real estate investment deal? How do I find good deals? How do I get the money to invest into good deals? Right? I don't have a ton of money, but I have some money. So what do I do? These are all questions that we answer at the summit, and I believe it's the greatest, financial breakthrough event I've ever been a part of. And I've been a part of a lot of them in our lifetimes. But for us, we didn't accept people saying, "Hey, your events are amazing and we love them and we love your mentorship, Dutch." And that's no, what I accept is people doing deals, investing into deals, and people having success. That's what makes me tick every day of my life.
Well, it sounds like such an exciting event. I mean, I'm signing up. I suggest everyone do the same. So, if we're attending the event, because I know everyone wants to go sign up, how does this redefine the American dream through investment education?
Well, the bottom line is you have an American dream that you need to define. And it's not the American dream that everybody else in society puts upon you. So during the event, we're going to help you lay out, write down, have a clear, concise picture of what your dream is and what your American dream is. Then we're going to help you build a blueprint and a plan in order for you to take a step by step, piece by piece, moment by moment roadmap in order for you to get there. And that's what the summit is. It's about achieving that freedom that we were talking about earlier.
So, someone with no investing experience or really no experience in dealing with money can walk away feeling empowered.
They're going to work way empowered, and they will have the ability to find something to invest into, right? And here's the thing, all investments have risk, right? And there's always risk to anything you do in society. And one of the first things I tell people, if somebody tells you an investment has no risk, you should probably immediately run away, right? At the same time, during the summit, it's stuff we've dove into, we've looked at, and we've put our best eyes on it. And we're going to give you the best valuation of them that we can, right? You'll have to make your decision on to invest or not invest. But at the same time, we're going to open those doors for you. But it's not about just the investments. It's about a knowledge that will last you a lifetime. It's about a financial relationship change that'll change forever. It's about you and money. And it's about how does this affect the rest of your life?
So, what other types of learning opportunities does the summit provide the attendees?
Yeah, the socialization of like-minded souls, right? It's one of the first things I learned in faith. As I grew in my faith was like being able to spend time with equally yoked people, but people that I want to be like someday was one of the most critical things in my own wealth journey. So they're going to have that experience. They're going to have the ability to socialize and network with people that are on the same journey. They're going to have one-on-one sessions with mentors and coaches that are going to be able to help you answer the questions you need to answer in life. There's going to be some brilliant and incredible keynote speakers that are going to be sharing some just what's happening right now in America. What are the decisions you need to make? Right. Our most recent summits had Tucker Carlson. We've had Grant Cardone, but what we're going to lay down during this event is a step-by-step process that everybody needs. There's lunch and learns. There's breakout sessions. There's just everything, depending on your learning style. If it's smaller, if it's bigger environment, those are all going to be there.
Definitely sounds like an event that people do not want to miss. Now, do you have success stories from the summit you could share with us?
Yeah, I mean, there's on the website, there's an endless amount of success stories, right? We have hundreds and hundreds of inner circle members. We have thousands and thousands of investors. We have so many attendees from the last year. And you can just hear their words for it, right? I let them talk to you about it, right? But the moms who've brought their children and the dads who've come with their children just blow my mind, right? And them wanting to leave a legacy, but getting that legacy knowledge is so critical. It's such a part of it, important part of the journey. I always wish, right, I knew more at a younger age than what I know now. But if I can stop that thought and I can know what I need to know now in order to do the things I need to do for the rest of my life, that's what everybody wants.
So, will the summit address? I mean, 'cause there's so many complexities and uncertainties that is associated with investing. Will the summit go over that?
We will. We will. We're going to talk about current economic conditions. I can't tell you how often somebody comes to me, they're like, if Biden's reelected, the world's coming to an end. If Trump's reelected, he's going to turn into a dictator. And I don't know what's going to happen economically. I don't know what's going to do. Right. We're going to talk about that topic and how you need to make sure that you put up your blinders like a horse race and you're able to see the things you need to see to make the right decisions. Right. And look, this is going to be a tumultuous year. If you don't think this is going to be a crazy, wild year, you just haven't been paying attention and it hasn't even happened yet for what's going to be coming come June, come July. And you need to be prepared financially, right? You need to know what's happening in these marketplaces. And so we're going to talk about market conditions. We're going to talk about the politics and how that affects you. But we're going to talk about the kind of investments, the kind of deals you need to do that are going to help you be stronger during these times. Reality is can you not invest? No, you can't afford not to invest as a person. So the question is, what do you invest into and what's the best decision you're going to make? I think real tangible assets, where people need to eat, where people need to sleep, are going to be a rule of law no matter what happens with politics, no matter what happens economically, right? If people don't think that the Chinese government is trying to overthrow American capitalism, you're not paying attention what's happening in the markets around the world. And so some of these issues we're going to be talking about and directly going into, but we're also going to be talking about, look, how do you make decision between A and B and how do you protect yourself?
That's a big piece. That's a real big piece. I was so impressed with your book and the work you do because you talk also about alternative investments. And one of them is you have a whole list of some great investment opportunities here. And one is actually one I'm invested in, which is Start Engine. So I looked at
Uh-huh.
that. I was like, okay, this is, it's kind of nice to see some of the dots connecting here, you know?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is if I like a lot of people come with a scarcity mentality, and they're like, "Well, what about competition?" Or how are you going to share what other investments are out there, or what other deals are out there? Here's the thing for me: is number one, to invest all your money in one place is idiocracy when it comes to investing, right? And you have to be smart, and you have to diversify. And if I find platforms, if I find different companies that can be great avenues for people, I said, if I'm going to invest in it, why wouldn't I tell people about it? Why wouldn't I let people know? Like, there's some really incredible things out there, and there's really amazing businesses and amazing real estate opportunities for people.
Can you share a little bit about, I know you said you're the keynote speaker. What's the expert lineup for the summit?
Yeah, I mean, we have Rebecca from Dealmaker, which is the largest platform in America for crowdfunding and investing, and she's really brilliant. We have some IRA and retirement wealth companies come in and really make sure that you're maximizing what you're doing and taking control of your own 401ks, your own IRAs. We have a gentleman named Lee who's coming in who's just brilliant when it comes to tax shelters and when it comes to protecting your assets, when it comes to safeguarding your investments and making sure that you're making those great decisions. And then we have a group of companies, Regulation A, Regulation D, Regulation CF companies that are going to come in and share their investments. And I think they're great companies, but you'll have to make your own decisions. And you'll have checklists. And as they talk, like, there's one of the things we talk about is founder stories. And there's so many founders. I mean, if you've never heard a rags to riches story with a founder, then you've not listened to very many founders company stories. And what I find is sometimes people can get sold on one part of the total conversation. Revenue, unicorns, founder stories, right? Business models, business processes, and then they don't see the entire picture. But we give you a blueprint and a checklist. So as each of these companies come and share their amazing investments, their amazing deals, you can have your checklist. We also have three companies, right? They're really just at the beginning of their crowdfunding journey. They're going to come and they're going to do a pitch contest, and that is an audience. You guys are going to vote on it. And when you vote on it, you're going to help us decide which company we're going to invest capital into to help them grow and start up. And if you're a company that's out there who's wanting to be a part of that pitch contest, just go to the InvestWell Summit and make sure you fill out our contact us form for that. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. There's so many things going on there. It's exciting.
Oh my goodness, that sounds very exciting. Now, do they have to be in a certain industry or just it's open to anybody?
It's open for startup companies that have, done the proper legal process for being able to bring in capital and raise capital, right? And like the homeless guy down the corner can't come and ask for money, but somebody who's got a legitimate business plan, a legitimate model, a legitimate business, who's filed a CF, can come in and make that pitch.
They've really gone through the process of getting it to
Yeah,
a place where it's
and
going
we
to be
and we
ready. Yeah.
and we vet too. So even with the contest, they're not the companies we're allowing to come in and share for a half an hour. Even with the contest with their short pitches, we've done our own vetting to make sure we believe these can be a great path for people. And even though you guys are vote on it, it'll be our capital we put into it.
My goodness, Dutch, you are such an inspiration. Where can our listeners again connect with you and be part of your community and sign up for the Invest Wealth Summit?
Yeah, I mean, there's just become a part of our community, right? So following us on Instagram, Facebook, right? You can go to DutchMendenhall.com. It's one of the places you could go. But you can also just go to investwealthsummit.com, right? Both of those are websites and links that work effectively, and can take you down that path. But that's investwealthsummit.com or Dutch Mendenhall, Mendenhall.com. Either one of those works great for you.
Well, Dutch, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Well, what a blessing to be able to come and share, our gifts with people. People are out there working so hard, and they deserve a pat on the back for that, and they deserve for things to be just a little bit easier, right? I'm not saying that investing doesn't take some work, and I'm not saying it doesn't take some learning, but opening a path for someone is a blessing. I'm glad we could share that.
I'm excited about that too. There are so many people I know that want to learn how to invest and don't even know where to start. And this is such a great opportunity. Thank you so much. Money Shackles is available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and everywhere books are sold. And remember, support our indie bookstores. If you don't see it on the shelf, just ask for them to order it. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.